Someone cracked the Robinhood IPO allocation algorithm. We'll break it down so you're ready to request shares in the next deal. So the Robinhood IPO allocation algorithm is pretty straightforward after all. You either get one share in the IPO, and we've seen this a lot of people getting one share and being very disappointed. They're giving one share to people who request small amounts, large amounts. Certainly flippers are usually going to get one share, but they're giving everyone at least one share. So you either get one share or 10% of shares requested plus 9 shares. That's the formula. Now, I want you to go and look at your previous allocations from the last few Robinhood deals and see if it lines up to that formula. It may not line up, it may not be perfect, but for the most part, we're seeing people with their requests line up with the ultimate delivery of shares if they get shares. Otherwise, they're just getting one share. So for example, if somebody requests 20 shares, they would receive 11 shares. I've actually seen this happen quite a few times on Twitter and in our community on Patreon. So you take the 20 shares, you multiply it by 0.1 or 10%, and you add 9. You get 11 shares. If you request 100 shares, you would receive 19 shares. And this is exactly the scenario that happened to me. I requested 100 shares from a previous deal, I think either Bullish or Figma, I can't remember. And I received 19 shares. I didn't think much of it of the time. I just, oh great, I got 19 shares. I'm pretty happy with that. Last deal, I requested 101 shares. And I did this because someone had mentioned, oh, if you request one above a threshold, that it might help you out. And sure enough, it did. I requested 101 shares and they seemed to round up. So I ended up getting 20 shares for that deal. I also did a deal where I requested 110 shares and I got 20 shares. So it is sort of lining up. I'm not sure how they're dealing with all of the round up, round down kind of numbers if you're putting in odd lots or whatever, but this formula seems to stick. Here's another example, and I've seen this happen twice. I know 2 members of our community who requested 1,000 shares for various deals, one being the Figma deal, one being this most recent StubHub deal. They requested 1,000 shares and they received 109 shares. And then I just threw some random numbers in here, times 0.1 plus 9 equals 65 shares. So this is the formula that they're using right now, and that's certainly subject to change, but it seems like the variable that they're using is whether or not you get one share or not. And that could be random. They're saying it's random. We certainly know that if you're a flipper, you're only going to get one share. So if you flipped in the last 30 days after a previous deal, you're going to get one share. I think sometimes new IPO investors might just get one share. And then we're not really sure what the other factors are, if it's just flipping or if they're tracking your IPO behavior throughout each deal. I seem to be getting these shares consistently. I've gotten one share, I think, for the Via Transportation deal. That was one. I only received one share for that, but my request was a little bit smaller. But for the most part, I've been requesting about 100 shares, 110 shares, and getting about 20 shares. So these mornings when they're allocating shares to customers, that's how it's getting pushed out there. And we don't know if they're saying, okay, maybe 100,000 people are going to get one share, and then the rest we're going to split it up. They obviously have some algorithm in place. We thought it might be a little more complicated than this simple formula, but this is what it is. It could change going forward, so something to keep in mind. So the next wave of IPOs that come through Robinhood will be monitoring this algorithm to see if it holds true. It is nice to know what the expectation might be so that you can put enough cash into your account to get the number of shares that you want. Now that someone on the internet figured it out, maybe they're going to switch it up.